It's time to talk sports. It's Hacksaw's Headlines, a panorama of the world of sports, stories, comments, and opinions.
Touchdown, San Diego!
Now, here's iconic sports talk show host Lee Hacksaw Hamilton and co-host John Riley.
Who wants to talk sports on a Thursday? We do, you do. From the DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Center studios in San Diego, heading towards a great sports weekend, we welcome you to our Thursday podcast, Hacksaw's Headline. The podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. What a great place to go for last-minute Christmas shoppers. Stocking stuffers, go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things they have to offer. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, along with my co-host from left field with his opinions, John Riley. We welcome you to our Thursday podcast. There's an old military term called FUBAR.
FUBAR.
Effed up beyond all reality. So John and I are sitting here talking. We are getting ready to launch the podcast today. He hits the magic red button. Nothing works.
Right. Yeah.
And he promised me there would never, ever be any FUBAR on my podcast. But we got it done. We got it through. Hey, better late than never. We are here, and we got the next 2 hours to fill with an absolute ton of topics on the table. John, what a great football weekend we have ahead of us. And we're sitting here being baseball-centric, as we always are on this podcast, waiting for the other shoes to drop in baseball free agency. We got a lot of things to talk about. Thank God you fixed it so there was no FUBAR today.
I don't know if I fully fixed it. I think I can see a few things on the screen, but all's good in the world, Lee. We're looking forward to a big weekend.
Yeah, we're going a lot of different directions, and when we are done, because we do sports talk the way it should be done, lots of topics on the table, and then we express opinions, and then we open it up to you. We started this thing 3 years ago. We have almost 10,000 followers on our live stream on YouTube. We started this thing called Fans Forum. It really works. How does it work?
It works this way. If you want to get involved in the chat, just look right there, right where the live chat is on your YouTube screen, on X or on Facebook. Type your comment or question there in the world of sports. We'll get to you in the Fans Forum segment at the conclusion of Hacksaw's Headlines.
Okay, let's green flag go. We got an awful lot to cover. Unbelievably busy day. Baseball, football, and a bunch of late-breaking stories on top of that. John, let's start with baseball.
Padres are on the clock. Fix this.
Yes, fix it. I'm going to use two words. One word is A.J. Preller, patience. Second word, A.J. Preller, puzzles. And I think that's the reality of where the Padres are. The Padres are on the clock. They have talked to everybody in baseball about different transactions. Would you be willing to take this contract versus that contract? Are you willing to make trades? What second-level tier of free agents are out there that might help us? But you need patience because you're dealing with somebody on the other street corner, and they're doing the exact same thing. So at this point, I'm not going to hit a panic button that the Padres have done zero right now to solve their pitching issues. But I will say this. As of noon today, there have been 99 players in a couple of weeks that have changed teams in free agency. Now, included in that collection are 32 veteran big-name free agents who've moved. There's about 45 minor league free agents who've got some big league experience that they've moved. There have been 5 significant trades so far, and the Padres have done this. Now, the Padres have signed 9 minor leaguers, including 7 minor league pitchers. That's what I call fishing expedition. So A.J. Preller wants you to be patient. A.J. Preller obviously likes puzzles. Does this fit here? Can I get this piece to make that fit there? That's what this is all about. But at the end of the day, I stand on my soapbox and I tell you, I would not approve a trade of Mason Miller. I am against a deal of Nick Pivetta. I'd hate to move Jake Cronenworth. And, yeah, Jeremiah Estrada is another name that's been mentioned. I also stand on my soapbox. Pay the price to get the Japanese right-handed pitcher, Imai. And if you have to overpay by a bit, pay the price to keep Michael King here. Because if you have Pivetta and you add Imai and you keep Michael King, now suddenly things look much more positive in Padreville than they would be if all those guys moved. I hate the theory that these owners behind closed doors, John, have told Preller, pare the payroll. The Padres are $35 million beneath what they were a year ago because a guy's leaving. Now, you can't go fill with a bunch of stars with just $35 million, but there are ways to creatively finance the deal. As I said, make Imai a 3-year big money offer, nice average salary, and then you can jump back into free agency. Overpay on Michael King a little bit. Try to get him to stay here. So that's one storyline with the Padres. The other storyline, Padres formally announced the completion of Craig Stammons's coaching staff.
Yeah.
18 guys. He's got 18 guys on his coaching staff. You got to be kidding me. I've never seen that before, including 4 different hitting coaches. So I went to a retired hitting coach in the last 24 hours and said, can you rationalize how you can have 4 hitting coaches in the dugout on your roster? And the response, after I thought about it, made sense. You got one overall hitting coach that works with everybody. You might have a part-time hitting coach that deals strictly with guys who are trying to groom in to become good designated hitters. You have another hitting coach that does a ton of stuff, how you're going to hit the opposing pitcher. And you might have a hitting coach who does cut-ups of video. 18 guys on Craig Stammons's staff. Christ, he's got as many coaches as he has a 26-man roster. I was really, really surprised at that. But obviously, these are hand-chosen guys, his new bench coach, his third base coach, obviously what they did with Ruben Niebla, et cetera. It's going to be fascinating to see how this thing goes. There's going to be enough room in the dugout for 18 coaches to go with the 26-man roster and the trainers. So those are all the storylines with the Padres, patience, and puzzles. That make any sense to you? Go ahead, John. Patience and puzzles.
Every time we get near the trade deadline or the offseason, it seems like the rumor mill is churning all of these stories. A lot of them are nonsense. It's like smoke signals on the horizon. And then usually Preller pulls a deal with some team and some player that was not mentioned in any of the rumors.
Yep.
So, there's been all these rumors. We're talking about the Mets. Maybe we're going to trade him Laureano. Maybe it's Estrada. Maybe it's Mason Miller. There was even the Francisco Lindor for Fernando Tatis ideas. But yeah, he's probably going to end up picking a team that we're not even thinking about.
But 99 guys have come off the board already.
Yeah.
That's a huge number that's established veteran guys. I'm big on lists. I have a 4-page list of all the transactions from the end of November through where we are in December, going towards the new year.
Is it on your clipboard, like in handwritten 6-point type?
Kind of like this, yes. So anyhow, that's where we are. Quit laughing.
You have a thing like that for the NFL draft, too.
Exactly.
And I like that style, but it's just so classic hacksaw. It's awesome.
The reality is it takes time to input all this stuff in a computer.
Yeah.
I don't have time.
So you just get out the big pen and go for it.
It's in hieroglyphics. I know what it means to me, so I can ad-lib it. So.
Yeah. Keep going, man.
If I ever gave you my list of transactions, it'd be worse than any Chinese academic exam you took at UCSD.
The high-speed sports ticker.
Okay, so that's Padre baseball. Patience and puzzle. Are you bothered by this? 99 guys have come off the board in a span of about 3.5 weeks so far in baseball free agency, in addition to 5 really significant trades.
One more question.
We have a question from somebody in left field.
I got one more question. Yeah. So, Ruben Niebla is the associate manager. Is that the title?
Pitching coach.
So, what does that really mean?
Good question, because they already have a bench coach. It'll be Craig Stammons's right-hand man. But at the end of the day, I think Niebla comes in with an equal say about how we're handling pitching, and then he'll bounce something off Craig, and then maybe the bench coach. Or Ruben will come in and say, this is what I think is really important in terms of who is the first guy up in the bullpen, this set of circumstances, et cetera. So It came with a pay raise, which
Yeah.
is one of the reasons they kept him. So he gets an additional title. Is he going to be a decision maker in the dugout? No, but he'll have strong input with Stammen because Stammen trusts him.
Okay. Has this ever been done before?
I think there have been assistant managers in the past, yeah.
It just seems like it's a human resources problem. Like you have a guy, you need to promote him, you don't have a place to put him, so you put him there.
No, you do this so you keep him.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
18 coaches on the staff. I've never seen that, ever.
Well, they got a bunch of them are in the bullpen. Some of those guys are like, assistants that show up at spring training, developmental guys. They're not all going to be in the dugout.
Okay. Padre fans forum chat box is open. Feel free to join us. The live segment we do on live stream with you is really important. Jump on board. We go from that. Let's talk about something changing at Dodger Stadium.
It's changing. Okay, we're going to find out. Hey, free agents, trade offers, what's changing?
All right, let's talk about this. The Dodgers, evidently, according to my people, are back in the running for Kyle Tucker. The Dodgers initially were interested in a 3-year, $90 million deal, which would give them big average money for only 3 years. I am told now the Dodgers might be willing to go as far as 5 years with Kyle Tucker. But that's the limit. But from what I gather, there's nobody that has offered XL, his agents, a 10-year deal. There's nobody willing to go 10 years, $400 million for a 28-year-old outfielder. Good player. Superstar? Nah, I don't know if he's superstar. Good, reliable player. The alternative, the Dodgers have reopened talks with the Red Sox about Jarren Duran. This goes back to the trade deadline. The Dodgers are continuing dialogue with Cleveland. Cleveland's very methodical, very slow. Cleveland wants young prospects for Stephen Kwan. So that's where the Dodgers are right now. High payroll, they don't care. Luxury tax, they don't care. They're just going to make the right acquisition. And, John, they are so deep in prospects. I think they could make any transaction they want with any key player they want. Of course, they're just so deep in AAA players and really quality outfielders and catchers at AA further down.
Yeah, I mean, they really don't need to do anything. I mean, they could just roll in with the same dudes, the same coaching staff, maybe plug in a few guys at the bottom of the roster, and they're fine. So they're the Dodgers.
And it does not appear they're going to trade Teoscar Hernandez because Kansas City was the only one interested, and Kansas City's been making all these deals to go get outfielders. So I would assume Teoscar will stay there. 2 more years to go on the deal.
Okay.
But maybe he winds up in left field if they get a right fielder. If they get Tucker, then Teo goes to left field.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
If they get Kwan or Duran, Teo stays in right field, and you hope he doesn't step on any hand grenades playing defense.
Well, I mean, Pages has got a strong arm. I mean, they could put him in right and then leave Edman in center.
But can Edman physically hold up? They're really worried about the wear and tear. Again, he's coming off ankle surgery.
Interesting.
So that's where we are. Dodger fans, feel free to get involved. You have an opinion on your team, you got an opinion about what the Padres are doing, patience and puzzles, feel free to join us. Third team in the conversation, looking for people in Los Angeles and Orange County who follow us. Let's talk Angel baseball.
Bullpen by committee.
This is really interesting. Do you know the Angels have acquired 9 players in this offseason so far?
Yeah.
All shopping on aisle 2 at Dollar General,
Yeah,
but
right.
they've acquired 9 players. Now, the latest acquisition, 1-year deal, Drew Pomerantz. When healthy, pretty good. Been able to stay healthy? Nah. Anyhow, had a 2.15 ERA for the Cubs, converted into a setup guy. He looks like he may be part of the closer by committee group. Because the same day they signed Pomerantz, hours later, they signed Jordan Romano, ex-Blue Jay closer, spent 1 year in Philadelphia. Guy's got some heat, had 111 career saves, had some physical problems over the last year or so. And the third guy is the one that's coming off the surgery, Ben Joyce, though he won't be ready for opening day. So of the 9 acquisitions that Perry Manassian has made, 7 have been arms. And again, he started all this early. He was the first one out of the box. Probably you're paying attention. Angel guy got Grayson Rodriguez from Baltimore. I'd like Grayson Rodriguez in San Diego. But he got him. Then he took a flyer. It cost him 55 cents to get Alek Manoah who had a great start to his career in Toronto, then had physical problems and lost his ability to throw strikes. They brought him in on a 55-cent contract. So they've done a lot. Here's the wild story out of Anaheim this morning. They still have budget space to do something else. They have yet to get the Anthony Rendon deal resolved. Buyout or deferral so you can leave and retire. Evidently, the $38 million that Rendon still got on the bank account, they want some of that money because they're trying to make a move on Muntaka Murakami, the third baseman, first baseman from Japan. And time is of the essence. He has to sign by December 22nd, by next week. Otherwise, his rights revert back to Japan. This guy's a home run hitter. Guy's a big strikeout guy. So the burning question, can they clear Rendon off the books or at least defer that money and use some of the 38 to go get Murakami, which probably would wrap up their spending spree? Have they solved everything wrong in Anaheim? No, not whatsoever. But it's obvious they've tried really hard with methodical acquisitions of proven major leaguers. Last year they tried it. A few of them worked out. A bunch of them blew up in their face. They're trying that same thing again. Comment on the Angels.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's just like last year with these kinds of names. And none of the names are sexy. I mean, maybe the Murakami name is sounding a little interesting, but most of those other dudes, I mean, they've had their moments. We've heard their names, here and there, and they're coming in and filling a role with the Angels. It just makes you wonder, what is Artie's business plan? What's the strategy? Because it's clear they're not trying to win a division title.
Well, you can't go from 90 losses to winning a division title with a snap of the fingers. Not with these guys.
But what it's telling you is this is the second year in a row that you're rolling out these, meh players, these mediocre dudes, these guys that are trying to resurrect their careers. I mean, it's cool to have a few of them and take a gamble on them, but you still need to have some stars on this team. You still need to have, guys that have an edge, that want to win. The Angels have no identity. I mean, I don't understand the vision from a baseball perspective, nor do I understand their business plan at all. It's a total mystery. It's
unique because one of the reports I got is they have met and talked to Mike Trout about going to center field next season. And that would mean if they do that, that would open the door for a DH. And would that DH be Murakami from Japan?
Interesting.
I think some of these things are all interrelated. I'll apologize in advance. My co-host from left field, he obviously doesn't like shopping at Dollar General because that's where the Angels are getting all these roster acquisitions last winter and this winter.
Well, it's okay to get a few there, but not your whole roster,
Okay, so that's all things Angels. Angel baseball fans in Anaheim, Orange County, you're invited to hop on board right now. Fans Forum chat box. Last baseball topic, really interesting because of named free agents. Something's changed.
Trades are coming in Arizona and Philly.
Let's talk about this Arizona situation. They met yesterday with Alex Bregman and his agent. This is a team that has not done a lot to upgrade their roster. Rather, they've sent guys out like a lot of pitchers. Anyhow, suddenly they're in the running for Bregman. However, and Bregman wants a 4-year deal. Bregman wants $40 million per. That's awful pricey for the Arizona market. But he's a rock-solid ball player. But they have to trade Ketel Marte to make that happen. They want to move those dollars there to these dollars here to Alex Bregman. And there's a bunch of people shopping for second baseman. But Marte's, A, he's got a big contract. B, not everybody in his clubhouse likes him. So that's a big issue there. So Arizona's going to be a player. Is Arizona going to do something first with Marte? Because if they do Marte, that means they're opening the door for Bregman. The second item, and we talked about this on Monday's podcast, because I wanted this guy maybe to have Padres take a look at him, Adolis Garcia. So he signs in Philadelphia. They are desperately trying to move their right fielder DH, Nick Castellanos. He's not real good defensively, but he's got pop. He's got a firebrand personality. So there may be a second trade, major significant name trade here after Marte. Castellanos might get moved to go somewhere to be somebody's DH because he's not a great outfielder, does not have a great arm. So I like Bregman. I think he's rock solid. I was surprised he walked out of the Red Sox deal, but that's his agent wanting max value for long periods of time, and they put opt-outs in that Boston deal at Fenway Park.
Yeah, you'd think that he would just rake, with the green monster there. But I thought he was going to go to the Yankees, Bregman. But Bregman going to Arizona, it's sort of like his hometown team. He's an Albuquerque guy. So that could kind of work. But, it's interesting because they had Suarez. But remember Eugenio Suarez.
And he went to Seattle. And he's still out on the street. But he's limited. He's not good defensively. Doesn't hit for average, but does hit bombs.
Well, Bregman is hella good defensively.
Yes.
I mean, because he was a shortstop in college.
Yes.
And then, the Adolis Garcia thing is interesting. But you're bringing up Castellanos, because if they're going to get rid of him, and then JT Real Muto is leaving, the whole personality of the Phillies is changing.
Well, they're trying to bring Real Muto back. And Real Muto, he's got a lot of miles on him. He kind of looks like you. Real Muto has not had a lot of offers. So I think there's a big push. He's at least 34, if not older. I think there's a big push for Philly to bring Real Muto back, and I think the conversation's going. I think the only arguing point there is term, length of contract for him. Okay, so it's all things baseball. Fans Forum chat box is open. Do you shop at Dollar General? Because my co-host obviously doesn't like Dollar General. Jump on board. If that's not enough to talk about, what a hell of a weekend we've got in the National Football League starting tonight.
Yeah, Thursday Night Football. We got the Rams, the Seahawks, bombs away quarterbacks.
They have both won 8 of their last 9. Both the Rams and Seattle are 11-3. This is tough. Rams are a little bit dinged up. Short work week. And to top it off, they had plane problems and did not get to Seattle till 1 o'clock this morning.
Oh.
Scheduled to fly out of Orange County Airport at 4:35. Plane problems. They had to separate the team and the staff from the travel party. Flew on 2 planes late and delayed because of equipment problems. Didn't get there till 1+ a.m. Here are the Rams. 383 yards per game on offense. Here's Seattle. 350 yards per game on offense. Matthew Stafford, could you have ever imagined this? 37 touchdowns and 5 picks. Old Dog has thrown for 3,700+ yards. He's never had a quarterback rating this high, this late in the season, his entire life. His quarterback rating is 112. Matthew Stafford. Sam Darnold has thrown for over 3,400 yards, 22 touchdowns on the season. His QB rating is 103. And by the way, you got quarterbacks throwing for that yardage. That means you got to have a lot of guys who are catching that yardage. How about Puka Nacua? 102 catches this season.
That's a lot.
Devontae Adams has got 60, but Adams is doubtful now. He tweaked a hamstring on Sunday, has hardly practiced at all. I don't think they play him out of safety. But they got 3 deep at running back, and they pounded the football recently. And then there's Seattle's pass catchers. Darnold's best friend is Jackson Njiba, Ohio State kid. He's got 96 catches. He's averaging 16 yards per reception. They've got Shaheed, who came from New Orleans at the trade deadlines, catching a ton. They got 3 running backs. And both these defenses, Rams guys, they look a little fatigued on defense, yet they got 28 takeaways. Seattle's defense, arrow pointed up, 283 yards per game, 43 sacks, 22 takeaways. Is it 5:15 yet?
Yeah,
Can we go watch the game right now?
Yeah, really.
This is going to be great. Rams, Seattle, there is so much on the line. So the fatigue issue of a short work week and a travel week for the Rams, I'd be worried about that and not having Devontae. But they covered the field. It has drizzled all week in the Pacific Northwest. It's going to be raw. It's going to be in the 30s with some wind. But the field is covered, so I think the footing is really going to be good. Oh, this is going to be really a great game. And the intangible, although this stuff wouldn't intimidate Matthew Stafford, the 12th man.
Oh, yeah.
The Seattle 12th man. Those people up there, and I know because I broadcast Seahawks for 3 years, they are crazy. about Seattle Seahawk football. Not stadium, that new stadium, Lumen Field, phenomenal. The way it's constructed right on Pioneer Square with the cantilevered roof, the noise stays in there. What a great matchup. So many really cool storylines. And I think the winner of this is going to get home field advantage for the entire NFC. And the winner of this has to be considered a real serious Super Bowl team. Because the winner of this is going to get to host all the games, which means you either got to go through L.A. to get there, or you got to go through Seattle in the winter weather to get there. Going to be fun. John, what do you think?
Do you ever get a sense that we're getting a dose of like bonus Matthew Stafford? Because when they made the trade, what was that, like 6 years ago or so? And you knew Stafford was, in the middle to the second half of his career, and you were getting rid of Jared Goff, the young quarterback. And so I figured, Stafford had, 3 or 4 years left in the tank. They got the Super Bowl victory. And I thought it would be a nice glide to retirement. And all of a sudden, he's having the best year of his career. Yep. And I just keep, every weekend, I'm just like impressed and amazed that he keeps racking up these numbers.
Well, they generated a lot of player acquisitions around him. He was beat up in a bad situation in Detroit, and he hung in there, and then finally they traded him for a younger quarterback. And oddly enough, Goff had hit a plateau and had never gotten beyond that in L.A., and the Rams gave up on him. And then the Rams get Stafford, realize what a leader he is, and what the Rams have done to collect players around him the last 3-4 years. It's just been absolutely amazing. They got a really young defense. Those are all draft picks, not many free agents. And they've drafted really well at the skill position. Finding Nacua out of BYU, that kid's a stud.
Yeah, he's incredible.
He's so tough. A runner and yards after catch. So this is kind of cool. It turned out to be win-win for both teams because Goff has just put up tremendous numbers in the rebuild in Detroit. And as you say, Stafford might be looking at his third Super Bowl appearance in Los Angeles.
Well, just think about, like Aaron Donald just retired, and they rebuilt that defense, man.
He went out on his own terms.
Yeah, so, incredible.
Rams fans, Seattle fans, jump on board. Tell me what you think. And I'm sure we've got followers on this podcast up in the Pacific Northwest. How about the atmospheric conditions up there with the arrival of the 12th man? They started that when they actually moved into the new stadium after they imploded the Kingdom. Then they came up with the concept of the 12th man, and they bring back all the Seahawk legends, and they're the ones that run the siren
right on,
and then wave the flag. That was not there when I was there, but Kingdom was a great place. This is a greater place to play, and the fact the way the stadium's constructed, the noise just kind of sits in there. Wow, great game. Rams fans, Seahawk fans, that's your Fans Forum chat box that is open. Boy, we got some great games come Sunday too.
Yeah, must-see TV. Chargers and Cowboys.
Let's talk about this. Take no prisoner, Charger defense. Man, what they've done the last 2 weeks, beating the Eagles, beating the Chiefs, beating up both quarterbacks, that's really impressive. Now they get to go to Dallas, and they're going to face the Cowboys. Jesse Minter has devised a pass rush because suddenly his linebackers are playing out of their mind. That defensive front is just playing with ultra-aggressiveness. I'm a little bothered by what I think is some headhunting and some cheap stuff in the secondary. But at the end of the day, Justin Herbert now has a defense right now that suddenly has just really come together and come of age. Jesse Minter's defense has got 40 sacks, 20 takeaways, and like I say, take no prisoners. Herbert, 3,500-plus yards despite the fractured hand, 24 touchdowns, passing and running. But that's Dak Prescott on the other side of the field. This is a career season for Dak. 3,931 yards, 26 touchdowns. His two receivers, CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, between them, 144 catches. And that doesn't include Jake Ferguson, the tight end. His receivers are averaging 15 yards per catch. Big plays everywhere. Now, Dallas's offense leads the world right now. 396 yards per game, John.
Wow.
Dallas's defense leads the world in yards allowed at 376. Not very good. So I guess the burning question, will Jesse Minter's pass rush disrupt the flow and the rhythm of Dak Prescott? Or will Dak get the ball out there, and how the hell are the Chargers, if they can't get to the quarterback, going to cover that tight end and cover those? They got actually 3 speed wide receivers. And by the way, Dallas can run the football a little bit, too, with the ex-Bronco draft pick, Javonte Williams. This is going to be a really good game. Chargers, Cowboys, Bolt fans, Dallas fans. Tell us what you think about that. Baltimore, New England. Yes, I told you so. I told you last week I did not think New England had played really anybody during this 10-game win streak, and then Buffalo came in and came from behind, stormed from behind, beat their ass from behind, and beat them. Now they get Baltimore. Ravens are playing hard. Lamar Jackson looks to be as healthy right now as he's been. They've gone back to feeding the rock to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is averaging 5 yards a carry now, has over 1,100 yards, and he wasn't doing that the first half of the season. Drake May's really good. For a second-year quarterback to be completing 70% of his passes, 23 touchdowns, 3,500 yards. So we're going to find out, because this is going to be kind of a, you ever in a rock fight when you were a kid? You ever do that stupid? Anyhow, this is going to be like a rock fight between the Ravens and New England. Third game, Chicago, Green Bay. Da Bears, 370 yards per game on offense. Caleb Williams, he's cooking. 24 touchdowns on the season. But I'll tell you, the end of the season schedule for Da Bears, they got to play Green Bay Sunday. Then they got to play San Francisco, which is playing out of its mind. And then they get Detroit. So this is a huge challenge for the Packers to finish on an upbeat note. And they got a bunch of wide receivers that are nicked up. Jordan Love, 23 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. But now they've lost Micah Parsons with the torn knee ligament, so that's a big blow there. Denver, Jacksonville. I don't know which is a bigger surprise, that the Broncos have won 11 straight, that Bo Nix has over 3,500 yards offense and 27 touchdowns. Is that a bigger surprise than Trevor Lawrence? Trevor Lawrence has thrown for 3,200 yards, 23 touchdowns. And the Jags have won 5 in a row and suddenly view themselves as some type of power in the AFC South. So this is really going to be an interesting game. Denver, Jacksonville got the Orange Crush defense, which is just absolutely phenomenal. 58 quarterback sacks. Trevor Lawrence going to face a defense that gives up only 31% conversion on third downs. Doesn't give up a hell of a lot of touchdowns. So that'll be a good game. So Sunday. It's not 5:15 Thursday night yet. Tell me how quickly Sunday will get here so we can watch the early games and the late games.
Sunday.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, we got this, and then we have the college football games in the playoffs. There's a lot going on this weekend. The Chargers-Cowboys. Now, first of all, where's that game going to be?
Dallas.
In Dallas. Okay, Jerry World. Interesting. Yeah. By the way, it's funny. When you always say Dak Prescott, like you pronounce it like biscuit. You know,
Prescott.
But other people usually say Prescott, don't they? But it's just a hacksaw quirk.
No quirk. I know what I know.
So, anyways, it's all good.
You dressed like that, critiquing me?
Yeah. Okay, so, but all these games are going to be great. I mean, I saw in your best 15 that, like, the New England was saying that, yeah, we consider Drake May an elite quarterback, you know. So they're just really high on this guy. They think he's the new savior.
Yep.
Now the new guy's going to turn it around there. But you're right. You did call him out on the schedule, and we read it on the air. And there were a lot of like Atlanta Falcons and teams like that have been on their schedule this year. So that may have been a bit inflated. And didn't Chicago Green Bay just play each other like a few weeks ago? Yep. Okay, so this is the rematch for there. So
and the Packers aren't the healthy team that they played a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So this will be a fun weekend. These are all great games.
Yep, I agree. Last topic on the table, just a couple bullet points here, peeking inside the MLB NFL notebook.
Okay, let's bring up the list. We got the Dolphins, the Cowboys, and the Chargers.
Miami has benched Tua, the quarterback. They just didn't bench him. They demoted him to third string.
Ooh.
And they're on the hook for so much money with his contract extension. And again, he's played very spotty. He's got 16 touchdowns, but he's got 15 interceptions. He's fumbled it 8 times. taken 30 sacks. That big money quarterback's rating is 88, which is not very good. And now they demote him. That's kind of shabby treatment. Demote him all the way to third string, which means he can't play unless the starter, the kid, Quinn Ewers, or the backup, Zach Wilson, if they both go down with injury. Otherwise, Tua has to sit on the sidelines, watch the game like you and me on TV. I don't know if this is the beginning of the end. He's got such a cap figure, they can't trade him, they can't cut him. I don't know if it's the beginning of the end of Mike McDaniels. They had won 4 in a row, and all of a sudden it came off the rails. So Tua gets benched. Second one, Dallas. Jerry Jones, always got something to say. His comments this week after the Cowboys got beat last weekend was, I like our bones. Okay. You want to interpret for me? He says, I like our future. I understand that. He's got all his guys signed under contract extensions, with the exception of Pickens. He's got 2 number 1 draft picks. They are a really young football team. He says, I like our organization. I'll say this for them. They recruit speed, and they got a lot of good young players. Now, they're not all learning on the job at the same pace because their defense is ranked 30th in the NFL, and they might fire Matt Eberflus, the defensive coordinator, once the season is over. But Jerry said, I like our bones. I guess that's the makeup of the roster.
Yeah, that's a salesman pitching you on what he's doing.
Okay, so we got that. And the last comment from the notebook. Nobody's paid any attention to this because everything around Charger football is about his honor, his excellency, Harbaugh. How about the job Joe Ortiz has done in 2 drafts? Do you know he's had 11 draft picks start games in the last 2 seasons?
Wow, that's great.
Back-to-back playoff-type teams. And he's always filling in on the roster. They went out and got a guy from Baltimore that he knew, Odafe Owe, pass rush linebacker, not an every down guy. Guys made such a difference in the pass rush, number 98 on your TV on Sunday, in terms of where they're lining them up. I mean, we already knew that with Khalil Mack and Tui, they were really good on the edge. And now this guy shows up, and he just really plays well. So keep an eye on him. I think Ortiz deserves a hell of a lot of credit. Nobody's talking about the job he's done roster building so that Harbaugh has a better team to coach. So you want to talk about the mess in Miami? Bones or the Charger general manager?
That's good points on the general manager for the Chargers, because we don't really ever talk about Ortiz. Yeah. But have you noticed that, like in the last few days, especially after all this Tua news and, and how terrible they played against the Steelers and everything else, is that people are pulling up receipts. They're going up into these old X posts when people said, Tua was better than Justin Herbert in the draft. What was that, 2020 maybe? And now people are saying, nope, I was wrong. Justin Herbert was better than Tua. I mean, it's interesting to think of those 2 guys being kind of connected and comparing how their careers have unfolded. Well,
one was taken before the other.
Right.
Miami passed on Herbert, just like Miami passed on Drew Brees way back in the day. Now, Tua's been hurt. Tua's had concussion problems. Also tend to think Tua's a little undersized. Do you know Tua has never won a cold weather game in his career? I think he's 0-6 now. Anytime a game is under 40 degrees on the road, he's never won a cold weather game, never really been competitive.
Yeah, that's Buffalo. That's Boston.
That's right. So that's where we are. Okay, feel free. Join us. You got an opinion? Might be different than ours. I know it's different than his. Feel free. Jump on board. Fans Forum chat box is open. We get to halftime. Podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. Lots of locations to serve you in San Diego. It's a Christmas shopping season. And I've mentioned this time and time again. And I know the preponderance, maybe everybody that watches this podcast is a guy. Well, if you're looking to have a unique Christmas gift, make a recommendation to the kids. Make a recommendation to her, the wife, the girlfriend, the fiancé. Get me a gift card from DIXIELINE Lumber. Because, John, I swear to you, there's a zillion guys out there that do-it-yourselfers who've probably never walked into a DIXIELINE store and seen all the tool displays they have. That's your cue to tell them about gift cards.
Yeah, gift cards. You can go there, DIXIELINE, they'll get you a gift card, whatever denomination you want, and then you can use it for all these fantastic power tools, other kinds of do-it-yourself from your home products that they carry there, building materials, electrical, plumbing, outdoor living, all the outdoor decking and patio furniture. They've got it all there at DIXIELINE. So if you're kind of creative, you can build like a little model and stuff that into a stocking stuffer, like a model of an outdoor pergola, of an outdoor patio, and put that in a package, put that in a stocking stuffer with a gift card, and provide that for the lady of the house.
Tell you what, you're looking for gifts, think gift cards, think DIXIELINE lumber. Go to DIXIELINE.com to see all the things they have to offer. Hey, we are here at halftime. When we're done with topics on the table, you take over this podcast. We're looking for first-timers. I want you to raise your hand and say, first-timer, join us in the Fans Forum chat box. And again, for John, all the newbies, the Rookie of the Year candidates that are with us on the live stream, how do they enter so they can express an opinion, take a shot, make a statement?
Well, there's already some rookies in there. I see LiveX Click is a new name in there. Just Good Sports is a new name. I mean, a lot of our old friends there. There's Mr. Belinsky, all kinds of interesting dudes, and, it's all good. So if you want to get involved in Fans Forum, just drop your comment, your question in the live chat on YouTube, on X, on Facebook. We'll get you involved.
Okay, just a couple of other reminders. I write about sports every day of the week. You need to check my website every day of the week. It's leehacksawhamilton.com. It's all written first thing in the morning at breakfast. Best 15 minutes on sports. It'll give you all the sports stories, my one man's opinion column. Want you to subscribe, because when you subscribe and become part of Hacksaw's Insiders Group, you will get emailed 2 letters a day. We email 2 newsletters a day from our sports website. So just fill out the entry blank to get on the email list to get Hacksaw's newsletters. I want you to share. Tell everybody what we do Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. Subscribe. When you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you will get the bonus video content because we put additional stuff up virtually every week on this podcast and on the YouTube channel. So make sure you do that. You can really help us grow. Thumbs up means you follow. I want you to do that. Hit that button here. I want everybody to hit that button, thumbs up, that you follow. I want you to tell everybody who we are. Give us a 5-star rating if you can, because that will really help us a great deal. Join me on social media. I want you to be part of Hacksaw's Twitter All-Star team on X. That way you can take part in my questions every night. I put all of these things up, Hacksaw's mini polls. So just join me on social media. Just type in at Hacksaw1090 follow, or just type in my name, hit the follow button. Did I cover all this?
Man, you don't quit, man. You just keep coming. I mean,
sales pitch.
Unbelievable. You're like a fire hose of sports content. It's unbelievable.
Wear him out. Because John helps me post everything that we put in the newsletters. His head falls off his shoulders about 9:45 every night.
Yeah.
Because I email him all my content for the newsletters.
Yeah, and then when we send those out via email, it's almost like the morning newspaper and the afternoon newspaper
right.
when those things arrive. So it's amazing. I mean, seriously, you're writing 2 columns a day. You're doing the podcast here. You're on television here locally. You're doing all the remote podcasts and radio guest appearances around America. This is. I mean, you don't quit, man. You just keep going. For a guy that's not
supposed to be working, one of us is working really hard.
Yeah, good for you. You do what you love, man.
Okay. We want you to be part of this, so do what we're recommending, and you can really help us make this thing grow. You got to hit the follow button. You got to give us a thumbs up. Give us a 5-star rating. It's unbelievable what impact that has, because we're on the air everywhere with this podcast. Okay, we go from all that. Let's go to the second half, John, because we got some other late-breaking stories here.
Yeah, we're going to talk about college football. We got coach firings and playoff games.
Okay, let's just start here with the college football notebook. It just gets worse and worse and worse at the University of Michigan. The whole Sharon Moore situation, him being fired. Now we find out through the police investigation that he was involved in this illicit relationship with a staffer for 2 years. and it was pockmarked by domestic abuse through all 2 years. And the woman decided to leave, cancel the relationship, and the relationship was about to move when he entered her house, harassed her, put a knife to his throat, and said he was going to kill himself. Then he ran out the door. She called her lawyer and then called police. She went to the university, turned in all the evidence to the University of Michigan of this illicit affair. He obviously has got 6 different counts against him right now. He's looking at time in prison, and there's a massive mental health problem with him. The other one is what's happened in the Mid-American Conference at Ohio University. Brian Smith, head coach, first year, 8-4 record this season, has been there a while as a longtime assistant coach, removed. Accusations that he was having a relationship with a graduate student staffer also. Now, the thing that's different is nowhere in his contract, because I saw the document this morning, nowhere in his contract is there any language that bans him from relationships with anybody. Now, he had gone through a bit of divorce, and he was seeing somebody post-divorce. And yet the university is of the opinion you violated your contract. The lawyer is going to file suit saying you can't do this to my client. Now you've wrecked his reputation. Nowhere in the contract does it make any reference to relationships with staff members, or in this case, a graduate student staffer, an older woman. So that's a big issue. There was also insinuation that he had a bottle of Jack Daniels in his desk in his office, and after victories, he would have a victory drink with some of his assistant coaches. It happened a couple of times. Very ugly story at my alma mater, Ohio University, with their head coach, Brian Smith. Let's talk football. Here come the college playoffs. We start with Alabama, Oklahoma. And this is going to be a challenge because this Alabama team, led by quarterback Tyler Simpson, is not the Alabama team that roared out of the gate. Our offense has been leaking oil since about the middle of the season. And Oklahoma is not the same Oklahoma team that started the season ablaze with the transfer quarterback Johnny Mateer, because he got hurt and they staggered. Nonetheless, this will be a really interesting matchup. And get this, the winner of Bama, Oklahoma, plays Indiana in the second round.
Oh,
wow. Next game, Miami, Texas A&M. That'll be on Saturday. Carson Beck, 60-year quarterback, throws a lot of touchdown passes, has thrown a bunch of interceptions this year. Carson Beck against the guy that I kind of wish I had put on my Heisman Trophy ballot, Marcel Reed. This kid's had a really good season for the Aggies. 3,400 all-purpose yards and 31 touchdowns for Marcel Reed. So this Reed-Beck matchup's going to be fun. Reed doesn't turn the ball over. Beck throws a lot of interceptions. That's going to be fascinating. Winner of that game, they play the Buckeyes. Third game. Do we have to really play this one? Ole Miss, Tulane. Mississippi beat them early in the season, 45-10. Do we really have to play this game? Oh, that's right. You wanted these people in the playoffs. It'll be interesting. Jake Ratzlaff, he's the quarterback that left Brigham Young and wound up there at Tulane. 3,400 all-purpose yards. Kid's got 30 touchdowns. Ole Miss might be the final game for the quarterback, Tristan Chambliss, and maybe their star running back, Kai Lacey. They are so vibrant. There will be no Lane Kiffin. The assistant coaches were allowed to coach this game. Ole Miss versus Tulane. Winner of this one goes to play Georgia. And then at Autzen Stadium in Eugene, the late game on Saturday, the Ducks, Oregon, 465 yards in offense against the Dukes. James Madison, 448 yards per game in offense, but have never played or beaten a Power 4 team, and they're playing at Oregon, Autzen Stadium, in the rain. That crowd, Dante Moore, Dan Lanning, geez. The winner of this one goes to play Texas Tech in the second round. So, John, you want to talk about coaches and relationships, or you just want to talk about the games?
Well, I want to talk about the games, but I also want to talk about everyone's complaining about the group of 5 schools that are getting into the tournament. Did you see what, Joel Klatt is?
Yes.
And did you see what his comments were about all of this? I mean,
everybody's got an opinion. Some of them are out in left field like you, but go ahead.
He was saying, he goes, I don't want to see Cinderella stories, you know? He goes, and besides, March Madness, this is, Joel Klatt, the color commentator, I think it is isn't he Gus Johnson's, wingman?
It was a quarterback at Colorado for a long time. It's developed a nice media personality.
Yeah. Well, anyways, he was saying, I don't want to see James Madison. I don't want to see Tulane. It's a distraction. He goes, in fact, I don't want to see Cinderella stories like we have in March Madness. He goes, besides, March Madness is a terrible tournament. He goes, it's one and done. And I'm just thinking, well, what an elitist attitude. I mean, this is ridiculous. It's okay. It's good to have James Madison and Tulane in this. Are they going to get rolled? They might. They might not. We're not going to know until they play the game. Now, the problem in the bracket isn't that they excluded Notre Dame or Texas or whichever team was on the bubble. It's the fact that they should have had this thing to be 16 teams in the first place, and then you still could have had, you could have accommodated everybody. And by the way, there's no ACC team in this, which proves that the Power 4 schools are not even a Power 4. They're a Power 3. So there's room for the little guy in this. So I'm thrilled that James Madison and Tulane are in this. I don't expect them to win. I just hope they have a good showing. And I hope, maybe magic happens.
Okay. When it's 69-3 in the fourth quarter, Oregon, and what they've done to James Madison, I'm going to call you and say, do you approve of this? Now, do you want me to ruin this segment right now and tell you what's going to happen? Should I say, I told you so in advance?
Okay, let me hear it.
College Football Committee, which operates this whole thing, the playoffs, is meeting right after the championship game with the presidents of the bowl events that run all the bowl games. They are going to propose a restructure of the playoffs. Follow me on this, dummy. The new 12-team playoff blueprint would have 12 teams from the Power 4 conferences, just the Power 4. They would then have a second set of playoffs for the top teams from the Group of 6. They would take those playoff games in the Group of 6 playoffs and put them into all the second-tier bowl games that are dying on the vine. That would include the Holiday Bowl and the Citrus Bowl and whomever. And that's how they would do that. The Group of 6 conferences who would no longer be eligible for the Power 4 would be the Pac-12, AAC, Conference USA, Mid-American, Sun Belt, Mountain West. So we're going to wind up eventually with where I thought we would wind up. The big boys will have their playoffs. It'll be 12 teams from the Power 4, and everybody else from the Group of 6 conferences, including the new look Pac-12, is going to be down here. They might have their own set of playoff games and then all be stationed in the different bowl games to make them, quote, exciting. Did I ruin your day?
Yeah, it's like Jim Crow, man. I mean, it's like separate but equal. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, you can imagine if they did that in March Madness and said, oh, yeah, you mid-majors, you're going to have your own little tournament at the kids' table. I mean, that's crap, So they should expand this and get everyone involved and make it a national tournament. It's just, it's this consistent, elitism is just really disgusting.
I apologize for ruining your day. Okay, you're a college football fan. You had a quick comment on which you think is the best game?
Oh, yeah, Boomer Sooner, man. I'm rooting for Oklahoma. Yeah, over Alabama, and they beat them earlier in the year, and this game's going to be in Norman. I mean, it's going to be great. I mean, and besides, I'm so sick and tired of Alabama, so I'm happy that Oklahoma's a shot to take them out, but, yeah, the next one in line is Indiana. So that'll be a tough assignment. And then, yeah, you were talking about the kid that played at A&M. What was his name? Was it Marcel Reed? Yeah, he's good. I mean, I was watching him in that game. Remember where they fell behind South Carolina by a million points, and they had that huge comeback a few weeks ago, and he played really well there in the second half. So that's going to be interesting. And then, of course, yeah, I'm going to be totally into seeing the two other games. Ole Miss isn't going to be the same. I mean, there's no Lane Kiffin. Did Lane Kiffin's players that he poached, are they going to play in this game, or are they
I don't think
stepping
he's
out?
poached anybody yet. I think all the Ole Miss kids are on the fence are still going to play.
Okay.
I'm sorry I ruined your afternoon, but so anyhow, I will ask those of you watching us on live stream, would you please intercede between me and him? Do you like all come? Everybody's invited to the college football playoffs. So even though somebody might lose 69-3 in Oregon this weekend? Or do you like this other concept that this is going to be discussed? It'll be strictly Power 4, then the group of 6 will have their own set of playoffs, and they'll use that to try to save all the second and third tier bowl games. They're going to place all those games there as neutral site games. Feel free to jump on board. You're into college football. Want to hear what you've got to say. Yeah, I'm not apologizing for ruining your damn. Just put topics on the table.
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with me? Okay, football. Okay, let's talk hoops.
Hoops. College basketball. I got a big game for San Diego State.
Aztecs did not play well against Air Force for the first half. Aztecs had not played consistently all this season. Have we expected too much? Are they grossly overrated? No. They're not the same team right now. I think part of this has got to do with the slow rehab process of Magoon Gwath. I don't understand the health issues and where Miles Byrd is. He's not the same player. But I'm not hitting any yellow panic button here because we got the entire Mountain West Conference tourney for this team to come together and get really good by the Mountain West tournament and then jumping off point into the NCAAs. But they staggered around for a half against Air Force at home. And like they got beat by Troy, and they're just not the same team. They're 6-3, and to me, it's a very unimpressive 6-3. And they're not going to fix it by Saturday. Damn! They go to Phoenix and they play the #1 Arizona Wildcats. This is an Arizona team, John, that's beaten UConn, Florida, UCLA, Alabama, Auburn already. And they are monstrously big up front. Arizona's averaging 90 points a game, 42 rebounds a game, led by 6'8 forward Koa Pete, led by 6'8 forward Toby Awaka, led by 7'2 shot blocker Monty Krivos, and 3 guards. That's a really, really good team. You know, last time, I think back to last spring in March Madness, just can't get the gut-wrenching thing out of my stomach of seeing the Aztecs losing by 40 to North Carolina.
Yeah, that was bad.
And then they got beat by 40 by Michigan. And then they got smoked in the third game of the Las Vegas tournament this year. I hate to say they could lose by 50 to Arizona, but they could lose by 50 to Arizona because this is not a complete San Diego State basketball team. They will be maybe by the end of the Mountain West Conference schedule, but not at this point. So I guess there's 2 questions I'm asking Aztec fans to join us in Fans Forum, but 2 questions for you with your opinions from left field. What's missing at San Diego State right now because they don't look right? And how unbelievably gifted is Arizona?
Well, yeah, Arizona is a giant killer. I mean, they're yeah. I mean, you just can't expect anything to happen here for the Aztecs. They're going to get beaten up. The issue with the team, though, is a bit of a mystery. You know, I mean, like you're talking about what happened to Miles Byrd, right? You know, and he'll try to make that spectacular play to kind of get the crowd fired up, but he'll like miss the dunk, you know, or he'll accidentally step out of bounds.
Or go 1 for 8 shooting, and that's not him.
Right. But then you complicate it further because they have like a 10 or 11 man rotation. So then, you know, they kind of cool off when they're on the bench, you know, so he's not getting the minutes as well. So I think some of this it has to do with the chemistry being so different. There's so many players, you know, rotating through. Right. B.J. Davis looks terrific. Yep. Pharaoh Compton, I saw his plus minus on that game was like plus 15. Mm-hmm. I mean, so he did a great job. So it's interesting, though, that our top players, you know, mostly our top 2, you know, Bird and Reese Waters, that they have been very quiet. and it's odd. So,
And Gwath is not Gwath yet.
yeah, he was showing a little bit more last night, but you're right. He's not where he was. But, Dutcher was saying we've only had 3 games in like 21 days. So they've just been playing themselves too much. He says once they get into the regular rhythm of playing a couple of, Mountain West games a week, it's going to get better, but it ain't going to get better on Saturday against Arizona.
Yeah. Is it sinful for me to say, Christ, they could lose by 50?
No, it won't be that bad. But I didn't think it'd be 40 against Michigan. But in the end, this doesn't really matter because no one expects them to win. All right? So just let it roll out. Hopefully they play better. Hopefully they step up. Hopefully we see some special things on the court. But my expectations are modest. But after this game against Arizona, then my expectations are saying, let's finish top in the Mountain West.
And they've got to work out rotation. They got to work out rhythm. Maybe they need to shorten the bench, which means guys are sitting and not playing. But I think Brian Dutcher has really struggled to find any continuity at all because it's been so skitterish.
Yeah, it's interesting, too. If you look at the plus-minus, who does really well on that is Sean Newman. He's that Louisiana Tech point guard. And not really a good shooter.
Not at all.
He's distributes the ball and everything, but his plus minus is always excellent. It's odd. I mean, Miles Heide has showed me a lot, but he suffered on the plus minus, but he looks to me like a completely different player.
I think that's just a maturity thing. He's played a lot of minutes and he's gotten progressively better in different aspects of his game.
Yeah, for sure.
Aztec fans, what do you see? Give us an opinion. Feel free to jump on board. We go from that, college hoops. Let's talk quickly NBA notebook.
Yeah, big names are about to be moved in the NBA.
Trading window has gone up and opened. And I'll tell you, we got some teams that aren't playing very well, and these rumors will not go away. I do follow the NBA extensively. Let's just talk about the situation involving the Toronto Raptors, the Dallas Mavericks. Huge rumors that Toronto is really interested in Anthony Davis of Dallas. Mega contract, big history injury. But Toronto's got the resources. The report is that Toronto is willing to trade a couple of number ones and maybe the center Jacob Poeltl or a couple number ones and guard R.J. Barrett to get Anthony Davis. Other teams have been in and out of the conversation, but it's obvious Dallas is going to retrench and retool, which is kind of sad for Dallas fans because they got Cooper Flagg. He scored 42 the other night, which is really impressive, but they don't have a lot of consistency around him, so maybe they're about to get into rebuild mode. The second team is Milwaukee. Milwaukee is talking now suddenly because they've had a wretched season. They're 11-16, and they don't have the right group of people around Giannis, and they're talking about possibly moving him. He would have to approve the trade. But the hottest rumor is Giannis might go to the New York Knicks. The Knicks, under Mike Brown, are having a phenomenal start to the season at the Garden. And the Knickerbockers are deep in guards, deep in forwards, and they got number 1 draft picks to use. Giannis might consider, now he's 31, he's had some injury issues, he might consider change of address to Madison Square Garden. The other unique name, it just surfaced this morning. Connect the dots on this. Giannis to Golden State. Golden State's going to make some changes. They can't solve the personality issue with Jonathan Kuminga, the big young jumping jack forward. They got guards, they got draft picks, and Steve Kerr's resume impresses a lot of people. Might Giannis say, I won't go to New York, I would go to Golden State? Might that happen? Third one is Golden State, Sacramento. This has been out there for a while. It's being revisited. We're talking about Kuminga. The Kings are in huge trouble. They are 3-15. There has been a terrible disconnect with their coach, Doug Christie. They got draft picks, they got players, and they've had a lot of interest in Kuminga. But I would tend to think if Golden State has a chance to get Giannis, they'd rather get Giannis than anything that Sacramento has got to offer. And the fourth one is what's going to happen with Chris Paul. Clippers can now trade him after removing him a week ago from the roster. He's got 1 million miles on his body. There's an attitude issue there. I've been told nobody is interested in Chris Paul. They even talked to Charlotte, his hometown, which has had a ton of injuries, but even the Hornets don't seem interested at all. And one side note about the NBA. You want me to ruin your day for a second time? This story broke this morning. You know, we had the NBA Cup just concluded.
Yeah.
New York Knicks won the NBA Cup. They beat San Antonio. It was a pretty good game. Nobody got excited. Nobody went. Knickerbockers got the banner, and they're so excited, they're not even going to hang the banner at the Garden.
I heard that.
Yeah, they can hang it at Penn Station if they want. So fans walking through, catching trains to see, oh, New York Knicks, NBA Cup. NBA is about to give up on Vegas. They're talking about moving the tournament. Contract had just expired, moving it out of Vegas and taking it somewhere else or just making it home games. Because I don't think the fans find it really something important. And I think the fans are turned off. Oh, these guys are playing for an additional $540,000 to win the NBA Cup, which is meaningless in the big things in terms of the NBA playoffs and standings. And we're giving rich men making $40 million, we're giving another $540,000. I said this years ago to you, John.
Listen to you.
If we really want to make the NBA Cup of value, take all that money that these rich players get and pour it into a fund to feed America. That would have value. Okay, so John, talk about the trade rumors if you want, or talk about your NBA Cup that you like that's no longer going to be in Vegas.
Yeah, the NBA, well, you have been so down on that from the very beginning. And so you're the one that's probably killing the vibe for NBA fans, you know, and they're not into it. I think it's fine to have a tournament in the middle of the year, or the early part of the year. But the thing that is interesting with this whole segment on the NBA is I was reading in your Best 15 that the trade window has opened, but I don't recall there's ever been such a thing in any other sport.
You can't trade players under multi-year contracts till a certain target date in the middle of December. That window opened, I think, on the 15th this past week. Now you can move a lot of guys.
I mean, does any other – I know sports have trade deadlines, but never trade –
embargoes.
Yeah, well, trades can't happen until a certain date.
Yeah, I think it happens in other sports.
Interesting. Okay, that was news to me.
So, Giannis, Golden State, Giannis, New York Knicks, what do you think? Where does street clothes go if we're talking about
street clothes?
Anthony Davis leaving Dallas.
Yeah, I mean, Dallas needs to get rid of AD. That's just not going to work. He's a symbol of the lost Luka. They're going to have to move on from him. We've been talking about Kuminga for months and months, you know, about the Golden State who can't trade him, wants to trade him. He's demanding the playing time and the money. Sacramento's been a disaster for as far as I can remember, except for a brief amount of time. They had a little rivalry going with the Lakers, like in the late 90s,
Phil
maybe.
Jackson era.
Yeah, so it's just been a disgrace there forever. Chris Paul, it's funny, we thought the Clippers, got rid of Chris Paul, but he's still on their roster, and they're still trying to trade him. I just assumed they released him. No,
they haven't released him yet. There's some value there. He's on a very economical contract, but nobody seems to want him. And I think reputation, attitude precedes him in the front door now. Does somebody else want this issue?
Yeah. I mean, he's just an old guy. He's not going to, be a super, he's not what producer for your team. So, yeah, he may be done. That may be the end of the story for Chris Paul. Yeah, kind of hard to believe it's ended that way. Okay, that's all things basketball. Do you have an opinion? Shoot a three-point shot. Make it. Don't be like him. Miss it. I didn't know you were a redneck. This guy's wearing an Oklahoma Boomer Sooner hat. I forgot that you were a redneck part-time. Man, I tell you, this is a big playoff moment for Sooner Nation. Okay. We go from that. Hot headlines. Got a lot of other late-breaking stories we're going to get to real quick. Okay, yeah. Let's start with FIFA. It's amazing. How much money do you have on your credit card? What's the limit? Are we going to go to a World Cup game? Oh. FIFA is under unbelievable heat for the ticket pricing. Of course, according to my co-host, everything involved with FIFA means they are corrupt. So anyhow, ticket prices came out 2 weeks ago, and the fans globally are in revolt about the ticket prices for the World Cup here in the States. So they announced they were going to reduce ticket prices for games here in the States. 10% of the tickets are going to be sold for $60. They're the ones on the roof that you can't see. Yeah. That's at 10%. That's it. They just released the ticket pricing for, example, USA-Paraguay, Game 1. Get-in cost for Game 1 of the World Cup with Team USA,
Lowest price is $1,120. Top price is $27.35 for Game 1 of the group play against Paraguay.
Yeah.
That's number 1 in both categories. That's the highest get-in price. That's the highest top-tiered price.
Wow.
Mexico. Mexico is playing South Africa. Their get-in price is $1,020. Top price for Mexican game, $23.55. Second highest get-in, second highest top price. Now, if you want to see Haiti or Scotland or Iceland, get-in price might be $110.
Okay.
But marquee games, I mean, prices are just through the roof. The fans are furious. But your guys at FIFA, anyhow, so that's the latest there. By the way, FIFA just announced the winning country of the World Cup is going to get a $50 million prize that goes to their federation.
Okay.
That sounds impressive. Except that this past summer, the Club World Cup here in the U.S. that nobody went to, Chelsea won it. Chelsea got $1.1 billion in prize money from FIFA for winning the Club World Cup. But the more important historical World Cup of soccer, which goes back to the 1900s, the winner only gets $50 million. They gave Chelsea $1.1 billion.
That's incredible.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we are. English Premier League. This is an interesting story. Back when the war between Russia and Ukraine began, we talked about how the oligarchs who are aligned with Putin were having all their assets seized in Europe, seized here in the United States. One of them was Roman Abramovich. He is the owner of Chelsea of the English Premier League. He was forced to sell his franchise. He made an agreement with the English Premier League. He would take the assets from the sale. He would turn it around and put it into a fund for Ukraine war relief for all the citizens in that country. Why? Because Abramovich was an oligarch and a right-hand friend of Putin. Well, the sale's been completed. The money's in the bank account. EPL has frozen the account. Abramovich is now trying to change the distribution of the money. He wants some of the money to go to Russia. So that's going to be interesting to see where that story goes. The third one, Paris Saint-Germain. Kylian Mbappe, French star, played for Paris Saint-Germain. A federal judge in France has ordered that soccer club to pay him damages for refusing to pay him the final year of his contract while he played and he got hurt. They've ordered Paris Saint-Germain to pay Mbappe $70 million in damages because Paris Saint-Germain violated the contract. Part of the contract that final year was he was going to be an impending free agent. He had a right to negotiate with other people. He got hurt playing for Paris. He started to negotiate to go to Real Madrid. Paris Saint-Germain said he breached the contract. We didn't want him here, etc. Judge said, you can't do that. You can't ban him. You owe him $70 million. Ouch. PGA Tour. This guy's great. Scotty Scheffler, 4th straight Player of the Year award. It matches all things that Tiger Woods did in his young career. Scheffler's a much different personality. He's won 19 tournaments in the last 4 years. I mean, he's been really spectacular, but not as dominant as when Tiger was at his peak. But he's a good guy. Scotty Scheffler, 4th straight Player of the Year award. And NASCAR, it's an awful story. Don't have all the details yet. Bad plane crash in North Carolina this morning, killed 6 people. Plane was owned by legendary NASCAR driver Greg Biffle. We don't know if he was on the plane. It was his corporate Learjet. We don't know if it crashed as it was taking off and they tried to come back, or whether they're trying to make an emergency landing, flying from one part of Georgia into North Carolina, and it crashed and burned. I saw the video. It was terrible. 6 dead. We were waiting for confirmation as to whether actually Greg Biffle was on that plane. He, of course, is a long-time, very successful, very popular NASCAR driver. So, John, that's all things soccer, golf, and auto racing.
Yeah, I saw the Biffle news. I think they've already said it. It's Greg and it's his wife, and he has 2 kids.
Terrible.
Yeah, and I don't know who else was on the plane. Obviously, the pilot. And, I mean, that's an awful story. So I was just breaking right before we started. The FIFA prices are crazy, but this is the World Cup. I mean, this is like the premier sporting event in the world. And so if you are a fan of a team, this is like a lifetime moment. This is a bucket list thing. So I would expect prices to be very expensive, especially since variable prices are a thing now in all sports. You pay more to go see, your team play the Yankees than you would to see them play the Royals, right? Because they're a higher demand team. So these prices sound insane, but if you really think about it and the way everything has gotten more expensive, it's not really that nuts. I mean, in the whole scheme of things.
If the World Cup historically, dating back to the early 1900s, is a fabric of our globe, why are they only giving the country's federation that wins it $50 million, but they gave Chelsea $1.1 billion for a Club World Cup that nobody came to see here in the States and was panned as being nothing more than money grab?
Well, I think everyone expected that Club World Cup tournament to be a sensation, especially doing it in America that's been embracing soccer, getting ready for the World Cup. But it was a snoozer event, So even if you took that Club World Cup and you had it, in England, or in Spain, or any one of the dominant national leagues, I don't know if it would still be sexy for them too. What do you think? I mean, do you think it could work in England or Spain?
I think an English fan coming out of the pub would be furious at these prices.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's expensive as hell.
Yep.
But, they must have done some kind of a really bad deal on that. They thought it was going to be a big tournament, Club World Cup, and they probably promised this outlandish prize to get everyone to buy in.
They put 32 teams in it. There aren't 32 great clubs in the world.
Yeah. It's wild.
You weren't a fan of the Iceland team being in there.
No, it's good. It's good to get, again, just bring in all these new teams. See, this is what's cool. The World Cup isn't doing what college football has been doing right now. They don't have the haves and have-nots. They didn't tell Iceland, you go have your little tournament at the kids' table. They open it up, the World Cup. You got to qualify to get in. And it's a big, wide-open tournament, and that is what makes these things special.
I expect you to wear a James Madison jersey on Monday when we do the podcast. Okay, you're big into soccer? Somebody join us. Fans Forum chat box is open. Just a couple of notes before we let you take over the tattered remains of our Thursday podcast. Podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers, 9 locations to serve you in San Diego. Just a reminder, DIXIELINE Christmas gift cards. Go to the website, find out all about it. Great stocking stuffers. A couple of other reminders. Check my website. I write on it every day of the week, LeeHacksawHamilton.com. Want you to subscribe. You'll get on Hacksaw's email list. You'll be able to get my letters, 2 newsletters a day that we send out. Want you to share. Tell everybody what we do Mondays and Thursdays at 1:30. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. The minute you hit the subscription button, you'll get alerts every time we put additional videos on during the course of the week, in addition, kind of bonus coverage, in addition to the podcast. Give us a thumbs up. Helps us. Hit the follow button. Give us a 5-star rating. Helps us a great deal. John? The rest of this belongs to your friends with their opinions from left field. Here comes Fans Forum.
Fans Forum. Okay, let's kick it off here. And this is with Matt DeBeast. Matt, thanks for the donation. He goes, how are the LA Dodgers ruining baseball? Just look at the last 2 playoff viewing numbers. LA, Canada, New York City, and even San Diego had big numbers. Compare it to NBA numbers.
Well, also add in the equation all the numbers in Japan. It was the all-time greatest TV revenue and attendance records in modern-day baseball. No, I don't think the Dodgers are ruining baseball. Everything they're doing creatively, including deferrals, 9 deferrals, over $1 billion now, that's all legal. Players Association signed off on it. The bigger issue is the disparity between who's got a lot and can spend anytime, anywhere versus half of baseball which does not or is unwilling. That is what has to be addressed. It's called Florida spending. That's what has to be discussed at the end of 2026. Hopefully no work stoppage. Find a solution because everybody else, NFL, NBA, NHL, they've all got salary caps, some cases luxury taxes or penalties, but they also have a big Florida spending. And Florida spending it mandates the Pirates and the Royals and whomever has to spend a certain amount, which means more quality veteran players are going to go to Kansas City, go to Pittsburgh, which makes them better. You got to spend money, invest money in players to have the better product on the field. So the Dodgers, attention Dodger Blue fan, I'm not bashing the Dodgers. The Dodgers are doing everything that's legal. They just are in the second market in the country, drawing 4 million for fans. I mean, when you got the Red Sox, the Yankees, and the Mets whining now about the Dodgers, you know that baseball needs to come up with a little bit different formula. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. I mean, I get the whole thing about, the salary cap and the spending, Florida spending. We've been talking about that forever. And yeah, the NFL's got a model that works really well. But, I don't generally have a problem with the Dodgers spending all that money. I mean, they just have the resources to do it, and good on them. I mean, they provide for. From speaking for myself, I was raised as a Giants fan. Now I'm a Padre fan. They become a really fun villain, So that's the team that I want to be, and it doesn't bother me they spend a ton. I don't think they're ruining baseball at all. I mean, they're opening up, baseball to the Pacific Rim. I mean, it's just Major League Baseball has exploded in Japan.
Oh, great. Okay, you got a different opinion? Feel free. Jump on board. Good to have you on board. Thanks, man.
Thanks, man. Okay, let's go here on the list, and we'll go here back to the top. And this is from Coach of LA. Loving your rapid updates, Hacksaw and John.
We know what we know, and we know a lot. We do sports talk really differently. I don't know how many topics that are on my sheet. John, you'd have to count them. I bet there's 25 different things that we talked about, and we do this on Mondays and Thursdays because there's angles, there's late-breaking stuff, and you got a right to know what's going on, and we give you a window to have an opinion.
Yeah. And you talk about rapid updates. I just want to give you props because we talk about, you said, the 2 newsletters that we do. Mm-hmm. The first one is your best 15. And that is like reading the morning paper. But you're just getting the bullet points, the data on who won, who lost, what was traded, how much was that contract worth, who's on the injured list. I mean, you've got it bullet pointed, and it's awesome. I mean, it really is.
You're right. I am bleeping brilliant.
And it's like, and to Coach's point, it is a rapid update thing. So I really like that. And then one you do in the afternoon is your one man's opinion. And you kind of let people what you think. Let them know what you think.
I wrote that very opinionated column on the Tyler Skaggs lawsuit and all the hot bullet points. What'd you think of that?
It was a great summary, I thought. You wrapped up all the issues, but it's in the jury box now, right?
Yep, still.
So they're sequestered, and I remember you were saying they were looking for more info. But it's good. It's all good, man.
When you need to know, we got the info. That's why we do the podcast the way we do the podcast. But that's why my website. Somebody should respect my website. We pour a lot of effort into that website.
Respect my website.
Damn.
Okay.
Okay, move on.
Let's go to John. Hey, Lee, are Scooble to the Dodgers trade rumors true at all?
I think the phone rings, you answer it. I find it hard to believe they don't have a need to take him on. And obviously there'd be a mega contract because he's a walk free agent right now. But in terms of, it's a great question, John. They have the resources. They are 5 to 7 deep at the top of their minor league system in terms of pitching. They got 3 outfielders at AA that many people say are can't-miss prospects. They've got catchers. So they've got the assets to actually make this kind of deal. Do they need them? No, I don't think they need them. And the cost to get them would be, A, expensive, what's going out the door, and B, you could get him a year from now when he's a free agent, so why trade your farm system away? So I'll be fascinated. And then from what's going on in area code 303, how do you explain in Detroit to the fans in Dearborn or Kalamazoo or Flint, we're trading the ace of our pitching staff? Buy my season tickets, but we're trading the ace of my pitching. How do the Tiger fans explain that to everybody in Michigan? I have a tough time.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 1 year left on his deal, and then he's, like you say, a walk free agent. So I don't know. I tend to think that these rumors are Dodger fan being hopeful, that they can add on to their amazing starting rotation. But it wouldn't surprise me if it happened because the way the Dodgers operate. I mean, if they had him to go with Snell, have two really strong lefties in that rotation, I mean, you'd have two Cy Young Award winners right there in Skubal and Snell.
But they could sign him a year from now when he becomes a walk-free agent.
Yeah.
And not have to give up anything at Oklahoma City or anything at AA.
When it's not like their starting rotation is lacking. I mean, you still got Glasnow, you got Ohtani, you got Yamamoto, you got Sasaki kind of sitting there in the wings.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where this goes, whether this actually happens. But how does Detroit face its fans if you do that? Okay, thank you for joining us, John. Become a regular.
Okay, this is kind of a follow-up comment from Richard. He goes, Fans Forum, if the Dodgers pull off a Skubal trade, will the Dodgers become the most hated MLB team since the Yankees of the 1970s and 1950s? And will John be in therapy for years?
Nah, John just likes to poke. At the end of the day, though, I mean, the Dodgers are reputable. The Dodgers, I think, are tremendous business people. Steinbrenner was at the other end of the spectrum. I mean, he was divisive. I think of Steinbrenner, I think about your president. I mean, that was how Steinbrenner operated. He was ruthless. Sometimes he was really cruel, like your president. So at the end of the day, I think their mode of operation at Yankee Stadium was really different than who the Dodgers are under Peter O'Malley and obviously what they've become under this group that owns this franchise right now.
It's interesting is I think of the Yankees in the 1970s, definitely they were the first evil empire.
Yes.
Right. And that's when Star Wars came out as the first time in 77, I think. But with the Yankees of the 50s, speaking for myself, is like the classic Americana. The Yankees had that great run, during the 1950s, the Happy Days eras. To me, I've always associated that team with good vibes. But the 70s Yankee team with a lot of like
Steinbrenner shtick.
Yeah, a lot of dark vibes. Billy Martin, all that going on.
Well, at the end of the day, the 1950s was a byproduct of slavery. You could not go anywhere. There was no free agency. The Yankees had signed everybody, and they'd make every lopsided trade in the world with their cousins, the Kansas City Athletics.
Yeah.
So, but that was the way baseball operated then because there was slavery in baseball. There was no player association, no union, no free agency for another 20-plus years. So
Curt Flood.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, you think about it, though. It's amazing that baseball had that, where you couldn't negotiate with a different employer. You couldn't quit and get a new gig, or your contract was up. You couldn't switch teams.
Yep.
That's like un-American.
And they went through lawsuits upon lawsuits upon lawsuits, and that gave strength and teeth to Marvin Miller and the Players Association. And they got free agency, and then the window opened, and then it flooded with players. And there was Steinbrenner signing the Reggie Jacksons and the Catfish Hunters of the world.
Yeah.
Okay, good to have you on board, Rich. Thank you.
Okay, let's go here to Timer 20. Hey, Hacksaw, what do you think of the Angels' recent signings with Jordan Romano and Drew Pomeranz?
Closer by committee, awful lot of low rental acquisitions. The thing that drives me out of my mind is, here's Artie Moreno. We're the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. We're big time. We're in the number 2 market in the country. And you're shopping at Dollar General on aisle 2. Every acquisition is a nickel and dime acquisition. Either it's a guy that is coming off surgery or a guy that's coming off a bad year that the other team didn't want to offer. So what kind of credibility is that? I mean, it's John said it very early in this podcast. Who's on their roster is going to make them better and greater. Like you keep buying at the bargain basement window, you get bargain basement players. 1 or 2 might pan out, 4 or 5 don't, and you're still sitting at 80 and 90 losses a year. It's been over a decade since they've been in the playoffs. Can you imagine that? So I like Pomeranz. Obviously, Romano pitched pretty well with Toronto and the 1 year with Philadelphia, but they just don't have enough yet. Can Grayson Rodriguez on a 1-year rental be special? Maybe. Before he got hurt in Baltimore, is pretty good. Manoah was really good for a year and a half, but he's never been the same pitcher the last 3 seasons, and Toronto let him go. So that's what's on your roster.
I see Drew Pomeranz's name, and I just sort of shake my head. I think, man, that guy screwed the Padres on that 4-year deal he had. I mean, he was hurt.
All the time, but it just seemed like it just dragged on forever, and he just never pitched again. And then suddenly he'll pop up somewhere, and he'll look good for like a month or two. Well, he was healthy in Chicago last year, 2.15 ERA, but in front of that, no.
Yeah, I mean, he's had such a checkered past because he was in
Colorado.
Yeah, and then he came to the Padres.
Went to Red Sox. A very controversial trade, tainted. Injured player. He's bounced all over the place.
He was been with Seattle. The Brewers, actually, for a little bit, wasn't he?
He was in Seattle, too, and then, obviously, the Cubs. Not a bad guy. He just had a lot of injuries, and he's made a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money just kind of, rehabbing,
exactly.
All the time. So, but, the Angels, I just wish they would... you go for some of these, Dollar General guys, but you hope you see their name in the mix on maybe one of the sexier names.
Well, let's see if they sign the Japanese first baseman, third baseman. If Murakami comes here, now that's an acquisition, but they're never going to give Amai, the Japanese pitcher, 6 years. He went 6 years, and the last number I saw, I want to say 6 years, 130. Now, the Dodgers aren't going to give him 6 years, 130. Padres are definitely not.
You were saying Padres should give him $33 million over 3 years.
Yeah, and let him become a free agent again after he proves himself.
Yeah, I mean, well, if the Padres could get that, that'd be great. But he's going to get a lot more than that.
He's asking a lot more. But at this point, has he signed? No.
But it's still early.
Well, he's got a window, too, that's closing.
Okay.
I think he has to sign by January 2nd.
Yeah.
Murakami has to sign by December 22nd. Those guys, when they are posted, they have a 45 window day that they have to sign in at 45 days. Okay, Tima, good to have you on board.
Okay, let's go to Emmanuel. Hey, Lee, looking good in that blue and orange. Maybe he's becoming a New York Met or New York Rangers fan.
This is blue and orange. I thought it was blue and red. I'm colorblind. What the hell do I know? All I know is that doesn't look good on him, whatever the hell he's wearing.
Yeah, it's my Oklahoma Sooners hat, man. We got the big game this weekend. Sooner Nation.
Boomer Sooner.
Boomer Sooner.
Redneck.
Yeah, Johnny Mateer is going to light it up.
Redneck. Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's go down the list here. And let's go to Mr. Blinksky. He says, hey, the Padres have hardly anything anyone wants. And the things that teams do want, AJ wants more in return than the teams are willing to give up.
It's a big issue. They've overpaid high-priced contracts to a whole pile of people. And I'll go back to what I said on Monday, which probably infuriated everybody down at Petco Park. You traded 6 for 2. You traded your whole farm system to get Laureano and Ryan O'Hearn, and you've not re-signed O'Hearn and Laureano 0 on a 1-year deal, and now you're shopping Laureano. And you traded Leonardo DeVries in a package to get Mason Miller, and now you're shopping Mason Miller. What are we doing here? Or am I on a street corner by myself? Am I the only one that thinks that way, that was his blueprint operating this way? So I may like AJ Preller. Does not mean I'm going to stand here and root for everything he does, because I think some of the things he's doing is suspect. Can he change it? Sure. Here's my blueprint. My blueprint is convince the Japanese pitcher Imaihi to come here on a 3-year deal. Overpay a little bit to get Michael King to stay here, where you really helped him become a good established guy. If you could get those two and you keep Pivetta, you got yourself a pretty good team. But you trade Pivetta, you trade Mason Miller, please, and you got no farm system. What are you doing? Do you want to argue with me now, or you want to wait till we have coffee later?
Well, I like the fact that he's open to anything. Mm-hmm. Okay, and I do think a lot of these are bluffs. A lot of these are false flags. They're shiny objects to get us talking about Mason Miller. Oh, my God, you can't train Mason Miller. And meanwhile, he's doing an end around, and, he's going to scoop up somebody else. So I like his aggressive nature. I like his persistence. There's a lot that I like about A.J. Preller. And he's willing to gamble. You know, for so long in San Diego, we either didn't gamble much, or if we did, we were gambling on guys, you know, with Kevin Towers and the dumpster diving.
Yeah, fire sales.
Yeah, I mean, there have been a few moments when we've had, you know, a handful of superstars, but for the most part, it's been hell being a Padre fan. They haven't won anything. So I think the fact that A.J. Preller is being aggressive is great, but he does have players that the other teams want. I mean, every team would love to have Mason Miller. Almost every one of those bullpen pieces everyone would want. And then if you were willing to trade a Tatis, he could get something there too.
But you're creating a hole.
Well, yeah, but you got to parlay, you know, you got to flip, you got to like maneuver. It's all a big game of poker.
Okay, Padre fans, you want to yell at me or yell at him? Just stand here, get on Fans Forum chat box, tell us what you think. John, move on.
Moving on, let's go to Chris. Hey, Saw, longtime Kings fan, and it pains me to say it, but I'm about to throw on a bright orange duck sweater. The crazy amount of skill they've hoarded has come to fruition, and they're bleeping entertaining as hell. The Carter Quack kids, I'm calling them. Kings are a painful watch these days.
They are just not scoring goals. And there's all kinds of rumblings nationally because I network with a lot of hockey people. A lot of people think that Jim Hillier he's on a short leash. Now, the general manager, Ken Holland, has already given him a vote of confidence about a week ago, but they're just not scoring goals and got a high payroll. It's kind of weird. Ducks in Vegas are kind of fighting for first place, and the Kings have kind of dropped a little bit, and I just don't know where their offense has gone. Byfield's not scoring goals. He had 20-plus last year and a breakout season for him. And Fiala stopped scoring goals, and I mean, some of the other guys just aren't potting any goals at all. So, boy, there's some problems. And the Ducks, so far, so good. A little rocky on the road recently, and some other guys have kind of stopped scoring, but, I mean, they stockpiled so many guys, but it's time to win. I mean, they lost for so many years, and so now they've got good players. I mean, Cutter Gauthier, that's a star. Leo Carlson, he's a star. McTavish isn't scoring the way I thought McTavish would, and they've got a bunch of vested veterans, Kreider and these guys wrapped around them. So Ducks got to be in the playoffs. Should be in the playoffs unless something from a catastrophic injury thing occurs. So that's good. That's a step forward. But they got to need to make a step forward because they've been down for so long. But this Kings thing's driving me crazy.
Well, let's follow up a little bit more with some Ducks talk with Callan. Afternoon, gents. Saw, I'll take a 2-2-1 road trip for the Ducks. Even better, having Dostal now, it sounds like Mrazek is coming back. How do you assess the season so far for them?
Well, as long as they stay free of any significant injuries. They had both goaltenders almost go down simultaneously, and they left the poor San Diego Gulls naked with no goaltending because they called them all up. Now Dostal is back, and Mrazek is about to come back. It's a pretty good hockey team. And there are layers of experience, veteran guys like Kreider and all the young kids, and there's layers of personality, grit and grime guys like Kreider, Strome, and these other people, along with young skaters. So they've got a lot of things covered. But it was time for this to happen because the product has been so substandard for a decade plus. So stay healthy. They'll be in postseason. It'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
I know what I know.
Well, yeah, here you go. Here's a comment from LiveXClick. Hacksaw, your show is good. Like hearing your opinions and honest information.
Very good. Well, we have a lot of opinions, but we do gather a lot of information, too, and we think this podcast is got a lot of depth to it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go here to the O-Siders. Hey, not going to lie, I wanted Jordan Love after Tua got picked. Glad we got Herbert, but definitely was questioning the pick. That's why I'm not a general manager, LOL.
Well, Herbert was a really good acquisition. Why Miami chose Tua, I mean, Alabama property, a deep southern thing maybe. But Herbert was a much better athlete, much bigger athlete, much more physical athlete. And he's had 5 major injuries in his career. He doesn't come out of lineup. Tua's been hurt a lot, and the concussions are really significant. And now they gave him this contract extension, and they got a big problem. They can't cut him. They can't trade him. It's like a $99 million cap hit if they were to move Tua. So big issue in Miami right now, and that's not the only thing that's wrong. The Dolphins got a lot of other player personnel problems, and they don't have a general manager at this point. So that franchise is kind of upside down.
Yeah, I mean, when I first started following the NFL, that was when the Dolphins were in their heyday in the early 70s.
Oh, the Don Shula era, all things greasy.
Greasy and Paul Warfield.
Zonka Kick.
Yeah, those were some good times. Mercury Morris.
Nick Bonacani.
Yeah, yeah. Those guys still get together and celebrate every year.
And a few of them have passed on, but they still have a bottle of champagne that's never been opened because nobody has ever gone undefeated, including Brady and Belichick in New England.
Yeah, Brady came close.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's keep going.
Thanks,
here.
Miami.
All right, let's go here to Showtime LA. Hey, Bo Bichette would do wonders in Los Angeles' lineup. Could put Edmund in center field.
Well, at one point there was talk of Bichette shortstop, Mookie Betts going to right field, Teoscar to go to left. They're really concerned about the physical wear and tear factor on Edmund. I mean, he's had multiple surgeries the last couple of years. Good player, yes, very much so. Multi-position, yes. But they're just worried about he might not be able to hold up to play 130 games, much less 150. But Bichette's got a high price tag. And there are some questions as to whether Bichette is a better third baseman, shortstop. His shortstop metrics are not very good, or a better second baseman. And Bichette's out there. I mean, at this point, I think there are 12 marquee free agents still out there on the open market, obviously led by the Bregmans of the world and Bo Bichette. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple of weeks.
See, all the Dodger players are so versatile. Mm-hmm. I mean, like Tommy Edman, you can plug him in pretty much anywhere, and he's going to give you, quality defensive production.
Same thing with Mookie, shortstop, second, right.
Yeah, exactly. And then Muncy moves around the infield. I mean, so that's why they're just so blessed. They've got not only all the stars, but they got all these Swiss Army knives that they can reconfigure like in a heartbeat.
Good point by you. Doesn't happen very often, but good point by you.
Okay, let's go to Bo Bello. I listened to Lee during the late 1980s.
And it was pretty good then. We were the first one through the wall doing this.
Okay, and then the Osiders had a follow-up because, great, the first year we Aztecs are eligible in the pack to go to the playoffs, they change it. Must be the curse.
Well, I had heard early on that the Pac-12 was not going to be part of this, that the winner of the new Pac-12 next year was not going to be part of the guarantee. And now it's been confirmed by what this conversation with the commissioners of the college football playoffs and the bowl representatives right after the championship game. They're actually going to talk about the playoffs being for only the Power 4 schools, and they will form a second series of playoffs for all the marquee teams from the group of sixes. And they're going to play those games at neutral sites and put them in all the bowl games. Holiday Bowl would get to host a group of six playoff game, Citrus Bowl, all these other places. It would help solve and maybe save some of the bowl games. I mean, it's a blow, but as much as I might respect San Diego State or my alma mater, Ohio U, they have no prayer. Go play Oregon? You kidding me? James Madison's going to get beat 69-3 on Saturday. How good is that? But he's of the opinion, all come. Everybody come.
I mean, you've got to bring – I mean, you're not going to have like 80% of the tournament, to be group of five schools. You have a couple of them in there, and these guys legitimately had great seasons, and they get the recognition of being on the big stage, and it's their moment. And it's a good thing, to have, and it sucks, for Aztec fans. So think about this. The Aztecs thought they were going to go to the Pac-12 when they were one of the Power Fives. They never did, but they still invested in that stadium. Now people aren't showing up. They got to raise fees to make more money, and now they're getting the big FU that you're not going to be in the big boy tournament.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one bad scenario after another. But at the end of the day, this is what college football's become. It's all about big money. It's all about the power structure, the power of conferences, and sucks to be you if you're in the Sun Belt Conference or Conference USA or the Mid-American Conference or the freaking Mountain West, whatever's left behind there, or the new look Pac-12. They can't be feeling good about this story that just broke today about what different set of circumstances now for 2026.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And here's some follow-ups from Aztec folks from Just Good Sports. Ted Tollner is what's missing at San Diego State, and Flegel says, I'll add Al Luginbill to what's missing at SDSU.
Well, good guys. I mean, a very different era, obviously. I like Luginbill. He was at Arizona State when I was there doing Sun Devil games, so I got to know him really well, and he's the one who recruited a hell of a lot of really good players because he had good assistant coaches who had recruiting pipelines everywhere, but the academics were really different. Ted Tollner, a great gentleman, classy guy, because he was at Southern Cal. He was here. He inherited post Al Luginbill. The one unique guy to me was Tom Kraft. I thought he was going to do bonanza things because he's a brilliant X's and O guy. But he got here as the academic rules changed for college football, and he was a heavy JC guy in terms of skill and throw the hell out of the ball. And just the whole academic thing, the menu changed, and he just could not keep up with them and compete. I like Rocky. Rocky is really old school. I like Brady. Brady was really old school, but he wasn't here that long. He was here and gone, came back, and then as the world changed around him, he didn't want to stay here. So there have been some really good guys here, and they've had some eras of success, but not Pac-12 success.
You know what's interesting is like 15 or 20 years ago, my daughter played, softball. And we would go down here to the Poway Softball League. They have great fields down here in Poway. And Ted Tollner's there. Mm-hmm. And Ted Tollner's grandchildren were playing, in the league. And it was cool, just to see him there. So, good on him. Like you say, he's a classy guy.
Yes.
And that, I might have shook his hand, said hello. I can't remember exactly. But he had that vibe.
His son became a player agent and was very successful, represented some NFL players. But Ted was from a different era. Real smart guy, X and O's, offenses, and he was pretty good. A lot of people don't know this. Maybe you might know this, maybe you don't. Ted Tollner survived a terrible plane crash. I don't know if you were aware of this.
Really?
He played, was it Cal Poly San Luis Obispo? And there was a bad plane crash, maybe 1960. They had two planes. They played a game at, I think it was at Toledo or Bowling Green. And he was on one plane that was taken off, and it went down. He survived. The people, quarterback in front of him and other players died.
Really?
He never talks about it at all. I mean, I brought it up to him one time, and then I relayed to him my experiences because I was on that hillside at Marshall University in 1970 when that plane went down and crashed. And we talked briefly. He did not want to really talk about it, but I understood that. But yeah, he was on that plane crash, the Cal Poly plane crash.
Wow. Well, there was that NASCAR guy that was likely in that crash. Hopefully they find some survivors. Have you heard anything on that?
No, Greg Biffle?
Yeah.
No, nobody survived. I mean, the fireball was unbelievable.
Wow.
So it was his private jet. I don't know if he was the pilot or whether he was just on board, but 6 died at least that I know of. That before I was coming to studio, that was the latest report. And now you're indicated he might have been on it.
Yeah. I also think about the day the music died, right? Buddy Holly.
Yes.
And the Big Bopper and Richie Valens. That was another plane crash.
Christmas cornfield.
Yeah. Okay, let's keep on going here. Go to John. Hey, hope you enjoy your Christmas, John and Lee Hacksaw Hamilton, and thank you for your podcast.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. By the way, we're going to be here Monday. Next Monday, we'll do a podcast, and we're going to be off for the rest of that Christmas week. So we'll be Monday and then back on the following Monday post-Christmas. But it's always great to have the followers who are with us all the time. And some people send me emails. I can't answer every email I get. It's just way too much work. But I try to respond where I can to flip information back to people.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, John's a good guy. He's been following the podcast since the beginning, and you for decades. Let's go to Carlos. Hey, LA Rams against the Seattle Seahawks for first place and the number 1 seed in the NFC tonight. Go Rams.
What is there not to like about this matchup? Mike McDonald's a pretty good coach in Seattle, and we know what McVay's all about. You got Matthew Stafford, and you got Sam Darnold. You got big play wide receivers, Pakua and friends, and Jiba and friends up in Seattle. You got two defenses that play with their hair on fire, and you got all these statistics that I threw at you. What is there not to like? And then you got the 12th man in the stands. Those fans in Seattle, they are so special. They are so driven to be football fans, and the product is damn good. So this will be great. Is 5:15 yet?
Just last week we watched Sam Darnold and the Seahawks play Phillip Rivers,
yes,
and the Colts, and it was really in that first game I really sat down and watched Sam Darnold the whole way through, and he was making a lot of very interesting, accurate passes, but then other times he was kind of off. It makes you wonder, though, like, let's just pretend for a moment that the Seahawks win and become the number one team in the NFC playoffs. You wonder if Sam Darnold is going to melt down again like he did last year in Minnesota.
Yeah. At the end of the day, he doesn't handle blitz packages as well as Stafford. And Stafford's seen everything. So I as good as they are offensively, 350 yards per game is pretty prolific. He does take sacks. And as you would allude to, because it's happened a couple different places, he does turn the ball over in the face of that type of heat. So I have no doubt the Rams going to send people. So the question is, does Darnold get the ball out of there before they get him? Does Stafford get the ball out of there? Because Seattle's defense is really good statistically. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's great. And the Rams are without one guy. Devontae Adams evidently is very doubtful to play because of the hamstring. That's more preventative maintenance than anything. So they'll be down one of their big guys. But they still got Puka. They still got the tight ends. They got 3 running backs. So it's really good. This is going to be a gem of a game.
Do you think 3 teams come out of the NFC West?
Well, who would the third one be?
49ers. They're kind of there, aren't they? They're like 9-4 or something.
They're sitting there at 9-4. I mean, Shanahan has done a magnificent coaching job in the face of all this adversity, all these injuries and this junk with Brandon Ayuk. But they might be one and done in postseason.
Yeah, I kind of think so.
Yeah,
but I think they might make it.
Well, they might make it, but you got whoever's in the NFC North. Is that Green Bay, Detroit, Green Bay, Chicago, Green Bay. Is it all 3? That's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. Fight to the finish.
Yeah. And you got Philadelphia, and then you got, I don't know who the survivor in the NFC South is going to be.
Tampa probably, or no, Carolina. Yeah. One of
all those dudes are now 7-7. Tampa's fallen off the face of the earth because of all their injuries.
That division is usually always like that.
Yeah, it's bad right now because of injuries. Okay,
let's get some social media here involved, and let's go here to talk about the Padres. This is from Lucas, and he says, I think they can totally get better by trading Mason Miller. He can get them some young MLB starters and position players in return, along with a few prospects. I think Pivetta could do the same, while also clearing some salary space to sign a free agent or 2. I think it's very possible these trades actually make the Padres better.
The only exception to that statement, and some of what you say, Luca, is correct, but only exception is there have been 99 free agents already left the board. There's not marquee guys there that the Padres could afford. So that becomes an issue. And if you start trading Mason Miller or Pivetta, and you think, well, we're bringing 5 good young players in, but that's good young guys not equal to the guys who just left here. And you're in the same bloody division as those guys with the rings on their finger in L.A. So what are we doing? Are we retrenching, retooling, and saying, rebuild 2026, hopefully things will be better in 2027? So I don't buy that. I would much rather have my blueprint. My blueprint is give Imai, the Japanese right-hander, something creative. Overpay, keep Michael King. Because then if you got Pivetta, Imai, and Michael King, and then maybe Randy Vasquez is your 4th guy, or somebody else becomes your 4th guy. Well, maybe Musgrove, but we don't know if Joe can be Joe until he proves it on the mound, because those surgeries take a year to 2 years in some cases to come back. But if you keep all these guys and you get the Japanese pitcher and you bring Michael King back, your rotation looks really deep, and you got everybody in the bullpen because you haven't traded anybody. That's pretty good formula. I think my blueprint's pretty good than some of this other crazy stuff. No?
It is. I mean, it makes sense, but that may actually happen. I mean, because all of this, again, I think it's a lot of red flags and shiny objects that Preller is able to get out there.
No, it's patience and parts of the puzzle.
Yeah, that's right.
He's always doing this.
He is, but, it's the Padres, I think you can never compare yourself with the Dodgers. That's a whole other thing. So I think if the Padres could focus on themselves and say, we made the playoffs, we had 2 years in the playoffs, 2 years, 90-win seasons. Let's just keep getting incrementally better. Let's focus on ourselves. I think that's fine. They don't need to blow it up. They don't need to rebuild, retool.
Yeah, but aren't you blowing it up if you do what Music Man wants?
But there's only two. That's only two guys.
Yeah, but that's two cornerstone guys.
Yeah, but you only had Miller for a couple of nights. He's only been in town since the trade deadline.
Yeah, but Miller's replacing Suarez, who you let go.
Yeah, I know, but
I know I'm right.
Yeah, you have a good blueprint. I'm not disagreeing with you there.
Okay, let's do another one or so here before we have to wrap it up.
Okay, and let's talk about this is a kind of a cool one, and this is from Saxonland. He goes, "You are the man, Hacksaw. I'll never forget you worked in the same building as my pops when I was growing up, and he got you to do a sweep for a video he made by Pop Warner team.
I remember
Thanks for that. Go Bolts."
Yeah, that was on Pack Highway, I believe. Yeah, exactly. Bolts have had a good season. Tell you what, I mean, the whole world talks about Harbaugh. I understand that. Whole world should talk about Joe Ortiz and what he's done in terms of roster building. That stat I threw out earlier, he's had 11 draft picks in just the last 2 years that have started games and contributed, plus what he's gone out and found on the street corners. I mean, getting this blitz linebacker away from Baltimore, man, what a revelation he's been. So I think Ortiz is a really good roster builder along the way. And I'll admit, I won't admit that I was wrong. I will admit I never thought they were going to beat Philadelphia and Kansas City back-to-back. Now, they're going back into the cauldron. This Dallas, that damn offense is really fun to watch. So that could be a wild game because Cowboys secondary can't stop anybody. I mean, this could be 40-39 by the time we get to Sunday night. So good weekend ahead.
We got time for one more, and it's a follow-up on the Chargers. I want to squeeze this one from First Bolt fan. He goes, "Hacksaw, I love you, but the Jefferson take is horrible. I get you. You hate the Spanos family, and so do I. But come on, man."
Now, Tony Jefferson led with his helmet twice. He injured two different players, and then he got ejected, and then he did this walking out. I bet by Friday we're going to find out that he got hit with a big fine. The minute you get an ejection, that is a big fine, and he had it on because he led with his helmet, which shouldn't play like that. They are big, they're physical, take no prisoner defense. Hey, listen, we hope you've enjoyed this podcast. This has been so much fun today. We're back here Monday. We're going to do one more show before the Christmas break, so join us Monday at 1:30. Podcast brought to you by DIXIELINE Lumber and Home Centers. Don't forget, great Christmas stocking stuffers. Go to DIXIELINE.com to see all they have to offer. Take that damn hat off. John, I'll see you come Monday. Is it 5:15 yet? I want to go watch the Rams play.
Come Monday, it's going to be all right.
Okay.
It's a little Jimmy Buffett.
Have a great sports weekend, and you have a great sports weekend, man. Thanks for being with us on Hacksaw's Headlines.
Join us again for Hacksaw's Headlines on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And find the audio version on your favorite podcast apps.
Touchdown, San Diego!
For more content, go to LeeHacksawHamilton.com.